Good evening, my friend. Before you head to bed tonight, give me just a few minutes. Not to sell you anything. I don't have a bottle to ship you or a supplement to push. Just some honest science about something ordinary. What you drink in the hour before you close your eyes, and what it does for the brain that has carried you through this entire day. My name is Dr. Evelyn Hartley. I trained as a nutritional scientist, and for the better part of 20 years, I've been fascinated by one question. What happens inside the aging brain while the rest of the body sleeps? It turns out the answer is quite a lot. Your brain doesn't shut off at night. It gets to work. While you sleep, your brain runs a kind of overnight maintenance shift. It shuttles the day's experiences from short-term holding into long-term storage, a process researchers call memory consolidation. It also activates something called the glymphatic system, a network of channels that flushes out metabolic waste that builds up during your waking hours. This cleanup work happens most efficiently during deep, uninterrupted sleep, which is exactly the kind of sleep that gets harder to come by as we get older. That's the real reason what you drink before bed matters, not because any one beverage is magic, but because some drinks support the conditions your brain needs for that overnight work, and others actively work against it, mainly by disrupting blood sugar or interrupting deep sleep. So let's walk through 5 ordinary drinks, what the research on each one actually shows and where the evidence is strong versus where it's still early. Tart cherry juice. Tart cherries, particularly the Montmorency variety, are one of the few natural food sources that contain meaningful amounts of melatonin, the hormone that governs your sleep-wake cycle. A handful of small clinical trials, including work out of Louisiana State University and the University of Rochester, found that older adults with insomnia who drank tart cherry juice twice daily for 2 weeks slept notably longer, in one study close to 90 minutes more per night, compared with a placebo drink. I want to be straightforward with you. These were small studies, 7 to 20 participants in most cases, so they're best described as promising rather than proven, but they're consistent with each other, and tart cherries also carry anthocyanins, plant pigments with anti-inflammatory properties that researchers are still studying for their role in brain aging. How to try it. About half a cup of unsweetened tart cherry juice, 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Skip the sweetened versions. Added sugar works against the very sleep benefit you're after. Golden milk. Turmeric milk. This one has centuries of tradition behind it and a genuinely striking piece of modern research to go with it. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most studied anti-inflammatory compounds in nutrition science. A UCLA-led clinical trial, published in 2018 and led by Dr. Gary Small, followed 40 adults between the ages of 50 and 90 who had mild memory complaints. Half took a highly absorbable curcumin supplement daily for 18 months. Half took a placebo. The curcumin group showed a 28% improvement on memory testing compared to the placebo group, along with mild mood improvements and lower markers of amyloid and tau, the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease, on brain imaging. That's a real peer-reviewed result, and it's one of the more encouraging findings in this space. The caveat is that this trial used a specialized, highly bioavailable curcumin supplement, not a cup of turmeric milk. Ordinary curcumin is poorly absorbed by the body on its own, which is exactly why traditional golden milk recipes pair turmeric with black pepper and a fat source. Black pepper contains piperine, which meaningfully boosts curcumin absorption. How to try it. Warm a cup of whole milk or coconut milk, stir in half a teaspoon of turmeric, a small pinch of black pepper, and cinnamon if you like it, about 45 minutes before bed. No sugar. Chamomile tea. Chamomile contains a flavonoid called apigenin, which binds to certain receptors in the brain associated with calm and drowsiness. This is fairly well-established pharmacology. Several studies, including research published in the Journal of Advanced Nursing, have found that regular chamomile drinkers among older adults report better sleep quality and fewer symptoms of anxiety and low mood. There's also a plausible connection to memory here, though it's more indirect. Chronic elevated cortisol, the stress hormone, is known to affect the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, over time, and it suppresses the deep sleep stages where consolidation happens. Anything that genuinely helps you relax before bed removes one obstacle to that deep sleep. How to try it. Steep a chamomile tea bag or a heaping teaspoon of dried chamomile in hot water for 5 minutes, about 45 to 60 minutes before bed. Warm water with raw honey. Here's where I want to be extra careful because this is the drink where the popular claims tend to run ahead of the science. You'll see raw honey described online as a trigger for neurogenesis and a fix for age-related memory loss. Most of that comes from animal and cell studies, not solid human trials, so treat those specific claims skeptically. What honey does reliably do: a small amount before bed can provide a steady, gentle source of glucose that helps prevent the liver from releasing stress hormones overnight to compensate for a blood sugar dip, which can otherwise interrupt sleep. That's a real, modest, well-understood mechanism, even if the more dramatic brain cell growth claims aren't yet backed by strong human evidence. How to try it: 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw honey stirred into a cup of warm, not hot water, about 30 minutes before bed. Warm milk with ground flaxseed and cinnamon. This is the one I recommend most often, and it's built on some of the more solid nutrition science on this list. Whole milk contains casein, a slow-digesting protein, along with tryptophan, calcium, and vitamin B12. Casein digests over 6 to 8 hours, which matters especially after age 60. Our bodies become less efficient at using protein, a phenomenon researchers call anabolic resistance. So a slow, steady overnight supply of amino acids is more useful than a large protein hit earlier in the day. Research from Maastricht University in the Netherlands has shown that casein consumed before sleep supports protein synthesis through the night in ways daytime protein doesn't replicate as well. Tryptophan is the raw material your body converts into serotonin and then melatonin, part of the same pathway that eases you toward deep sleep. Add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed and you introduce plant-based omega-3 fatty acids and lignans, both with anti-inflammatory properties. The cinnamon isn't just flavor either. Early research suggests cinnamon compounds may help support healthy overnight blood sugar regulation, and stable blood sugar means fewer of the middle-of-the-night wake-ups that fragment deep sleep. I'll say the same thing here I'd say about any of these. Milk and flaxseed aren't a cure for memory loss. And nothing here replaces a conversation with your own doctor, especially if you're managing diabetes or dairy sensitivity. But as an evening habit grounded in real physiology, this is a solid one. How to try it: warm a cup of whole milk, stir in 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and drink it slowly about an hour before bed. What this actually adds up to: none of these 5 drinks is a treatment for cognitive decline, and I'd be doing you a disservice if I let you believe otherwise. What the research genuinely supports is this: deep, uninterrupted sleep is when your brain does its most important repair and memory filing work, and what you eat and drink in the hour before bed can either support that process or work against it. Steady blood sugar, a bit of tryptophan, some anti-inflammatory compounds, a calmer nervous system. These are small, real levers, not miracle cures. If you're genuinely worried about changes in your memory, please talk to your doctor. Nothing here is a substitute for that. But if you're just looking for a better way to end your evening than a sugary drink or nothing at all, any one of these 5 is a reasonable, low-cost place to start, tonight and then again tomorrow night.